Well, hello there, and welcome to another Alignment Break segment. I am Nova Whiteman. I am the author of Awaken Aligned: How to Navigate the Human Experience as a Spiritual Being. And that is what we're doing here on this channel is we're trying to identify some ways to make that navigating part a heck of a lot easier and smoother and perhaps more consistent and enjoyable. So, a few weeks ago, I had polled my audience asking them what do you struggle with the most on this journey of being a conscious human, trying to live your life as best as you can from that higher state, that higher vantage point of alignment with who you really are. And to no surprise at all, the most common answer I received was basically how to deal with other people's energy. Most people that find their way to my work, to this channel, to my book, and to any other offering, they would identify as energetically sensitive or empathic beings. You're on a conscious path, you feel a lot more potently, you're just more dialed in. And while that is a gift, and I'm definitely one of those people that's going to really try to reassure you that it is a gift. I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but it is. It can be really hard to manage. So on the one side, you see deeper, you feel deeper, you have a capacity to impact the space and impact your relationship, your connections, whatever endeavors you have, at a much more meaningful and more connected and more in-depth level. And ultimately, that's uplifting humanity, the collective. Not to mention just really improving and helping you access the highest state of whatever it is that's in front of you, a relationship, an endeavor, a project, etc. On the other hand, the hard part is that you have to sift and sort through the emotions and the energies and the thoughts that you're experiencing, some of which, many of which, maybe even most of which aren't even your own. So raise your hand if this is true for you. You walk into a crowded room, and before that, you were pretty even keeled. You were feeling all right. You were centered. You were pretty connected within yourself. And then all of a sudden, you're, a little out of sorts or a lot out of sorts. You might all of a sudden feel sad or frustrated or quick to anger or anxious or hungry or, it could be a bunch of different things, but all of a sudden you're overwhelmed, whereas before you were not. So it shows up in that way, and it can also show up in the way of when you're relating with people in your life that you care about, and it's like you have, because of your sensitivity, you can actually see a little bit more clearly into their experience. And for many of you, you probably have this gift or ability to kind of see the broader perspective, like, okay, they're struggling with something. I see the answer. I see what will help them. And I really, really want to help them. I want to impart as much as I can into their experience. But either they're not willing or they're not ready. They're not willing, meaning they haven't asked you for your help, in which case I would not offer it. Don't do that. Don't offer where it's not being asked. Wait for the invitation, especially if you're familiar with human design and you're a projector. Wait for the invitation, because if you try to impart your wisdom or your advice or your guidance when nobody asked, it is never received well. But even if you're not, even if you're just somebody who has that ability, it's just your best bet is to ask first, hey, are you willing to hear my point of view? Do you think that would help? Because it softens them and makes them more receptive to whatever it is that you have to say. But if there isn't that willingness, then truly there's nothing that you can directly do to impact their situation. It might just be something they have to experience for themselves. So willingness is one. The next I said is readiness, because sometimes people might think they're willing. Sometimes they might be like, heck yeah, lay it on me. I want to know. I need some help here. But yet you might notice that they don't apply what you offer, or they just want to kind of stay stuck in their story or their limitations or perceived limitations. And that can be really frustrating in and of itself. That can kind of amplify those emotions that your sensitive self is already experiencing. But so whether it's that where you're dealing that with a partner or a friend or a loved one, or if you're just noticing with certain people or certain spaces, you walk in and you're just zapped, and you walk away from that conversation with that person and you're just like you feel like you need 3 days rest after that. There are many answers to this question, and there are many ways in which to manage those sensitivities and sort of discern your energy, where your energy ends and another person's begins, so to speak. But for the sake of keeping these particular videos a little bit shorter and easier to digest, it always comes down to one single answer. And that is to reorient and refocus your awareness on you. So let me explain. If it's one of those situations where you've walked into a crowded room, you were feeling fine before, and now you're all over the place, the answer is to step away so that you can recenter and refocus on you, because then you have that discernment. Then you have that awareness of like, okay, I'm on empathy overload right here. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence to ground my energy or protect myself walking into this space. Maybe I didn't grab my crystals and bring them with me. I never leave the house without some sort of crystal to help. Whether it's placebo or not, I don't care. It works for me. It helps me not absorb or tap into other people's energies as palpably as I usually do. So it helps you just step away and reorient yourself, remind yourself that, hey, my energy is mine, their energy is theirs, or ask yourself, what do I need here so that this doesn't turn into a shit show of an experience where I am feeling too much and I start to spiral. Then you can fill in the blank. You can identify what it is that you need and give it to yourself. If it's one of those situations where it's more one-on-one and it's dealing with specific people in your life and loved ones, and maybe they've asked for your help, or you've asserted yourself or whatever, but you're feeling it and you can tell that it's swaying you. It's hard to watch those we love and even people we're not close to. It's hard to watch each other struggle, especially when you know there's a better way. It almost doesn't matter if you know that there's a better way. It doesn't matter if there is a better way if somebody is not yet willing and ready, in which case the answer is step away, put the focus back on you. Now, to speak a little bit more directly to that, why would we want to do that? Well, I already gave you one instance or one reason why, in the context of being around other people's energy or overwhelmed with energy, but also because when one person is in alignment with who they really are, when one person is connected and accessing higher states, more resourceful states of being, higher expressions of who you really are, you are impacting the rest of the world, and especially the spaces and people around you, more profoundly, positively, in a way that you will ever really understand, that I will ever really understand. Abraham Hicks says when one person is in alignment with who they really are, they are more powerful than a million people who are not. So it's always going to be in the best interest to those around you, to those in your life, for you to focus on you. Another more common quote, and I don't know the source of this, is man does mankind, or we'll just say humans do humankind the greatest service by being happy. Why? Because again, vibrationally speaking, you're raising your frequency, you're giving the world, presenting the world with the best version of yourself. Everyone else will always benefit from that. And then to take it a step further, when you do so, you're getting out of the way. You're no longer trying to control all of these components of a situation that are not yours to control, so that you can allow other guidance to come in, other intervention to come in. What wants to emerge in life for that person and for you to come in and do its thing. It can't do that if you're sitting there trying to control and meeting nothing but resistance. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, my battery was about to die, so I had to do that. Ooh, did you see that little orb fly by there? I love when that happens. Okay, but that's to my point, and thank you, orb, because you're reminding me what I was just talking about before I paused it. We're not doing this life thing alone. You are sensitive and empathic and dialed in to far more than the average Joe, because you're here to make a bigger impact. How do you make a bigger impact? By recognizing you're not doing it alone. By focusing on your own alignment so that you can access the greatest parts of yourself, the greatest expressions, your gifts, your strengths, your abilities, your talents. That's always going to be the right answer. There might be additional answers to go with that for each situation. There might be things that you need to do after you've reoriented and reconnected inward, but you're going to know what those answers are because you took the time to do that. So in short, if it's in a situation where you're around a lot of people, step out of the space, step out of the room. In some cases, if you know you need to just go home and recharge your energy, sleep on it, rest a little bit, do some clearing exercises if you're familiar with those, and then come back refreshed, you can do that. It might just take stepping outside and taking a few deep breaths of fresh air and reminding yourself, saying, I just stepped into other people's energies. Maybe I should shield and ground myself a little bit better going in. And oftentimes just having the awareness is enough to not absorb the crap out of everybody else's energy. If it's with somebody that's more one-on-one in your life and you're noticing that in your observation of their experience, their lives could be better, but for whatever reason, they're not willing or ready, return your focus on you. Build yourself up. Focus on your own personal development, your own transformation, your own consciousness, spiritual work, your own alignment, and watch how your raised vibration tends to bring together situations, people, opportunities, context. Answers and solutions will emerge out of the blue, and you'll sit there and wonder, gosh, how did that happen? Well, in part, it's because you did your part to allow that to happen. I know it's hard. I know the human thing is to worry about each other. We love each other. If you're energetically sensitive, that tells me that you're compassionate and you're empathic, and those are very, very beautiful and powerful superpowers to have. And they have their limits, they have their lower expressions, and that's when we step outside of ourselves and try to make it all about the other person. It's not sustainable. You'll burn out. You're not your most resourceful in that position. You are your most resourceful self when you focus inward, and being the highest version of you, it naturally spills over to those around you. Now, I will say in some cases when we do that, that also opens the door for us to identify which relationships have completed themselves, where you're no longer energetic matches, or you came here and completed the agreement your souls had together, and now it's time to go your separate ways. And yeah, that can come with grief, that can come with a lot of different elements, but the answer is always the same. Dealing with that, focus here first. Get yourself into that connected, most resourceful, higher state of alignment, and you'll be better equipped to deal with every nuance, every step of the way. So I hope that helps. I will try to do more of these videos addressing some of those answers that came in when I asked, what do you struggle with the most? If you have your own struggles and you haven't emailed me yet and you want to know, get some guidance or insight or clarity, different perspectives on how to approach human experience from a conscious spiritual vantage point, drop it in the comments or hit the reply button if you're receiving this video in an email or anywhere else. Let me know and I'll try to address that for you. Also, if you're not on my email list, you can do so by going to novawhiteman.com. It's in the notes below. And when you sign up for it, not only are you getting, not bombarding, but checking in on you, giving you some resources and further insights, emails from me, but you'll also get access to my free mini e-course, 3 days to raising your vibration. And that'll help you kind of apply what we're talking about here when I say focus on you. This course is a way to do that, and it's completely free. So until next time, I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your experiences are, what works for you in managing the emotions of others. And as always, good luck on this conscious human journey as a spiritual being. It is not easy, but it can be the most thrilling and wonderful thing when we're doing it, when we're participating in it in these ways. So take care.